Welcome back, my horde. So right now I'm sitting by myself. Jay's gone for another smoke. Tammy's gone to bed. Chris is doing stuff, not in the room. And here I am by myself, thinking, haha, they're suckers. Hey Tammy, you stink. Hey Jay, you stink. Hey Chris. Yeah, meow. I'm done. I'm just waiting for them to show back up. Tammy's not coming back, of course, for this episode, as you can clearly see on the screen. Tammy's not on there. We will be talking about D&D again. I think through now just swapping around where their position, so I'm going to just pretend like I'm not talking to myself and pause this. So I turn back on the recording, and immediately blings happen. Which, oddly enough, is you. Or
yeah, it was me, but I sent it out before you asked.
So, just for the record, if you guys hear it bling, blame Chris.
Sure.
Who, in the room, decides to send something to the group.
Yep.
I'm not sure what it is. I'm not even going to look at it ever.
Yeah, just shut off now.
Tonight. And you're never going to see it tonight. I'm never going to look at it tonight.
Well, you got half an hour and then tonight's over.
I think the next one is Ranger.
Before we go into that Ranger, one of the things I was going to bring up is the fact that, one of the things I had wanted to do at some point was either with a druid or a paladin, because they get the special paladins get their special mount, and druids it would be a bit into a druid for me to get it, but it'd be like get a weird mount like a rhino or like a werebear or like a Pegasus. Something like that. Why'd you shake your head?
Unicorn.
Yeah. That was actually a running thing. Was that I was in one of the campaigns that we ran, which is actually the one with the 7 people.
Yeah.
There was a unicorn that would follow everybody at the beginning of the campaign because we weren't sure. We were doing.
Jay really liked that unicorn.
We'll get into that. We were doing level 1 campaigns that was meant for 4 people, but for only 2 people. So because of that, the damage would be that was meant for 4 people would be divvied out to 2.
Yeah.
So one of the beginning parts of it, you're actually supposed to rescue a unicorn. And I was like, you could always have the unicorn follow them to make sure that, their health is okay. And I was joking around with Chris, can I play the unicorn? He's like, fine, you can play the unicorn. Because I was there for everyone's thing, pretty much. At least the beginning parts of everyone's things.
Were you there for the wife and...
I remember them going through the one part, yep.
Okay.
So anyway, I think I just missed their second half.
Okay.
Jay's second half.
Yeah, okay.
Because you had to do it in 2 campaigns, or 2 days.
Yeah.
And I missed the second half. But anyway, the unicorn could heal them. So I was just, healing them with the, touching them with my horn, healing them. And, yeah. There was lots of jokes going on about that.
The monk needed a lot of healing, because it's also where the monk went,
Hey, Jay, look at the gelatinous cube.
Nope, I'm out. Doesn't matter what the size was it from that point on. It was gelatinous cube. Doesn't matter if it was the size of a D6. It was a gelatinous cube. Nope, I'm out. Doesn't matter what level he was.
But in that campaign, the unicorn was throughout the entire thing, and at one point I was joking around about having the unicorn come back as a spirit of the unicorn, and it being like my spiritual companion. And Chris like, you know what? No, I just can't. But no, I was always thought about like doing something like that, or having like a dark paladin and having like a nightmare being its special mount, or just like a druid's thing, something like that. Just things like that. I've always thought about having like a really interesting companion / mount.
Get away from the stereotypical horse or
wolf, like horse, stuff like that.
Get away from the stereotype. Go for the more the weirder, odd ones.
Yeah.
Like druid with a cougar
Yeah.
as a companion, rather than the wolf or the bear, which are the two common ones I find.
I've never seen the bear because the bear, I think, takes level 4.
Yeah, I've seen the bear at times.
Yeah, again, I think the bear takes... you have to be level 4 to get the bear. So that's why I've never seen it. Mostly because the fact that there's so many weird penalties for switching your
Well, that's
animal companion.
that's the thing. One of the things I did on the few occasions I played the druid is I held off on getting the animal companion until I could get the animal I wanted. And then I'd go find that animal and do the whole rigmarole.
But yeah, so there's the ranger. I actually made quite a bit of rangers in my life. I do cheat when I make a ranger. I actually start off with an animal companion and treat it like a druid's animal companion.
Yeah, I think I only played 1 or 2 rangers. They just aren't my style. Like, put a bow in a ranger's hand. I think that was the problem because I kept thinking ranger. Okay, they have to use bows and everything else. Yes,
2-weapon fighting.
when they legitimately you go to the 2-weapon fighting route and they can just demolish things.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that at the time, and
When I make...
2-weapon fighting didn't come out until what, 3.5, right?
No, it was in...
I don't think it was in 3.0.
It was in 3.0. It was. It was just the concept that when it was done, I think a lot of people just didn't like the fact that there was all the penalties involved in it.
yeah, the penalties can get confusing at times when you've got multiple different ones.
Just give me a second. We're going to look at something. So yeah, in 3, a ranger gets less feats. By that, I mean, like, it does not start off with combat style at level 2. It does not get combat style at all. So therefore, it doesn't get 2-weapon fighting or archery. You literally have to go to the feats and actually take them. And so it would be the concept that you may have, when you were making it in 3, you may have just thought, because the fact that it's supposed to be a ranger, that it was supposed to be archery based. But in 3.5, you can either go 2-weapon fighting or archery. And to be fair, if you actually take the feat, because I've broken rangers, because I used to play them so often, I figured out a strategic plan. At first level, you take 2-weapon fighting. At second level, you take your archery instead, because you can jump back and forth between the two. And I find that the archery stuff sometimes has weirder prereqs. So it's harder, like, 2-weapon fighting, there's not a lot of, bonuses. Like, quickly looking here at combat style, because I can. At second level, you must select, trying to figure out here. You pick either 2-weapon fighting or rapid shot.
Yeah, and since you already had 2-weapon fighting...
Yeah, or I would take point-blank shot and then take 2-weapon fighting then. But, like, it would be the concept that, you jump back and forth. At least that's how I understood it. And it's like, there's the concept that... I'm trying to figure out. So it was improved combat style, which is at 6. You can either pick improved 2-weapon fighting, which we never played with, or many shot. And then the next one is greater 2-weapon fighting or improved precise shot. Mm. So like I said, always at first level, I would just take 2-weapon fighting, and then you take all the other things later on. Because, like, the many shot, I think, because it doesn't actually, or rapid shot, for example, sorry, it says you bypass all I believe it says you bypass all of them, the prereqs. Which was one of the things is why I used to do it. Because then you could theoretically have rapid shot without having point blank.
Well, yeah, since the ability is telling you specifically pick one or the other, I think the idea behind the ranger was you're supposed to pick your combat path and stay to that path.
Yeah.
but it actually doesn't specify in the
I
book.
think it may specify, but the argument is the fact that you take 2-weapon fighting as a bonus feat. You never take any of the other 2-weapon fighting stuff. You just take archery, and then you can do both. Yep. And that's what I've always based that on most of my characters that I have created. Like, you always have melee and you always have range. Even if you're range focused, you always have melee because one of the two can always happen. Like, case in point, we were just playing with the twins not too long ago, and we ran into the problem where the twins were 100 feet away from a target who's shooting at them with a bow, and their ranged weapons are not 100 feet.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't even know if you have a ranged weapon.
Theoretically, I have a reach weapon.
That's not a ranged weapon. Argumentatively, I could have thrown a javelin at the person. I would just been at a penalty.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, usually when I play Rangers, I will cheat and have Animal Companion at first level. Because I hate trying to deal with the concept of... Because you don't get it until...
remember, Rangers
4th.
got Animal Companion.
Yeah, you get an Animal Companion at 4th level.
For Ranger?
Yep.
Yep.
Now, again, maybe not in 3rd.
Yeah, it's...
3.5, yes.
3.0 is where I think I played the Ranger, and that was it.
Yeah, you get an Animal Companion at 4th level, and it's treated like a druid at level 1. And I just hate having to keep track of that. I'm at a -4 for everything.
Mm.
So I just was like, screw it, I'm going to have it at beginning level. Also, I never understood why you didn't get it at beginning level, because you don't get your spells until later as well. So you're already getting delayed there. Why are you getting delayed at the animal? And I think Pathfinder actually changed that. In Pathfinder, you actually got to choose one of your 3. You either chose combat, you chose animal, or you chose magic.
That's an interesting way of doing it.
And whatever one you choose, that one starts... You start off with that one, and you get the other 2...
later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense, that route.
I've also hated how Animal Companions were done, to be fair. Mostly because the fact that it's so hard to keep track of how much health they do have and don't have.
Yeah.
And the fact that they get it every other level and not every level. So sometimes, like, they could be, like... Sometimes, I think it was even, like, 3 levels at one point. So, like, literally, they could be, having, like, 10 health. You could have 50. And literally, then they get 50 next go-around. Yeah. And you have now 60.
The Animal Companion rules, it's... Even when I was playing those classes that could have... Even when I was playing those classes that could have an Animal Companion, it's... A lot of the times I found myself not taking him, simply because I didn't want the pain in the ass trying to keep track of it all.
Yeah. No, that's why, like, last time I took an Animal Companion, which was actually with Chris, and that time before that, I think it was me jamming. I actually would classify the Animal Companion as its own class. So I would actually, like, give it a class. I can't remember. I think Barbarian was one of the ones I gave it. One of them. Because it was like a badger.
Makes sense. I mean, you piss off one of those things, you can feel it.
It was a badger or Wolverine. One of the 2.
Yeah.
So I gave it...
It still doesn't change the fact that you can feel it if you piss it off.
And I think the other one, I gave it a cleric. Which is the one that I had with Chris.
Yeah.
I gave it cleric. So it had more healing spells. And I was a paladin at the time. So it was a holy cleric with me being a holy paladin.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So we're just going to skip over this one because no one plays rogues.
Oh, hell. That's my primary.
I know. That's why I'm bugging you. So, yes, rogues.
Played them off and off that for quite a while there. I didn't even need the book. I could just grab blank character sheet and build a rogue. It was a halfling rogue pretty much all the time. Which is why I'm trying to get away from this, because I got stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
If you have party members that will flank with, rogues can be incredibly powerful because they're sneak attack. Unless you're going up against undead and you take specific feats for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always found myself going and cross-classing into, or prestige classing rather, into assassin.
Yeah.
At level 6.
Yeah.
And it would only take 1 level of it. Because that's all I needed. All I wanted was the poison use.
See, that's why I actually like Ninja. Ninja actually does give you poison use.
Yeah, but I never had the
I know.
book for ninja,
But I'm
so I
just
didn't
saying,
spot it.
I like ninja more because it actually gives you the greatness of the monk as well. A little bit of it.
Yeah.
Plus the stuff. But no, I actually made a character once that was lawful good who became an assassin. I know the book says you can't do that, but my argument was, why can't I? He can have a code that argumentatively prevents him from killing certain people. Like, he'll only kill evil people, stuff like that. So then he's theoretically a good character still, because he's just like a paladin at that point.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. I felt the alignment restriction on the assassin was far too constrictive.
Well, again, I do understand it to some degree, but at the exact same time, I think the problem is, I honestly think one of the biggest problems is the fact that there is certain classes out there that, if read verbatim, become evil. Like, for the example, the assassin is meant to just kill anyone.
Yeah.
You get paid, you kill. But then you also have, like, other classes where it's like, if you, like, again, going with that one, or if you change it just slightly, it could be classified as good. Which is, again, having a code where you only kill certain people. Though,
well, the assassin world, you've got people like, using Skyrim as examples, the Dark Brotherhood. Yeah, they're evil. They'll kill anybody for coin. But by the same factor is, why could a Holy Order not have assassins?
well, if you really wanted to do it, there's an entire game series that focuses heavily on that morals.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like, that entire game series bases the idea about, is assassin good or bad? It's the entire premise of that game. Because the fact that, the Knights Templar, who were always known as everyone as the good guys, and the assassins, who were always known as the bad guys. You find out, at least according to the game, that it's reversed. Because the fact that the assassins would kill people who were being nice to people, but doing awful things behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I always felt the rogues and assassins, they are more concerned with the background than they are what the appearances are. They didn't care if you were donating a bunch of money to starving orphans in this orphanage. It's the fact that, you went out and you're kidnapping people, torturing them in your dungeon just for your own entertainment. They'd kill you for it.
Well, that's the other weird thing, is the fact that I've had discussions about the concept of my paladin that I played with you. The fact that he had just killed those evil people. Like, at one point, there was literally an evil guy, and because I can sense that he was evil, I would just kill him. I would kill him outside of town, so we never had problems with guards. I never killed a neutral person. I never killed a good person. I even, at one point, there was a group of neutral people who actually tried to assassinate a man. And I didn't kill them. I actually had them arrested. I made sure we arrested them. I never killed a neutral or good person in that entire campaign. Evil, however, I didn't even need to know why. I know that's a fanatic. I get it. But the thing that we were having the discussion about afterwards, and I've had the discussion a couple times afterwards with different people, is the fact that in D&D, evil is evil. Like, you have to do a lot of nasty shit to be classified as evil. You don't just go, oh, I slaughtered a baby, I'm evil. It's like, I slaughtered a baby, his entire family, brought them all back from the dead, and then freaking killed the mayor. Now I'm evil.
Yeah, I've in all honesty, even when I'm GMing and everything else like this, I really do not pay attention to alignment. I really don't care. I don't think alignments are necessarily really needed in the game.
Well, the thing is the fact that it actually does make sense for the game. The problem I'm trying to get to is the fact that, or the thing I was bringing up is, why I was bringing it up is, there's this point where there is no good consensus on how your alignment shifts.
Yeah.
And because there's no good consensus on how the alignment shifts, it's kind of like, what you've done, this is your path. There's no redemption for you. If you're a chaotic good creature, you can never be anything but chaotic good. That is you. you're chaotic, and you're going to be good. No matter what happens to you, this is your path. So it's like, when you're lawful evil, you're evil. You have a code and you're evil. You're never going to be good. If you do good things, it's always for evil reasons. My character's my twin is a very good example of that. I know you guys haven't actually really watched any of that yet. But my twin is like, my half-orc. He's very much in the concept that he will do things that seem good, but he's doing it because he wants money. Or reputation.
Or he wants the good reputation for cover.
Yeah. So the concept is that he's always doing it for his own benefits. Which, again, is what makes him evil. Because even though he's doing a good deed, he's doing it for personal reasons. And then people can argue, well, that's not always what makes one evil. And there's this big back and forth on that. But that's why I think D&D actually has that set in stone. Because then there's no argument later on about the fact of, like, when the GM does that to someone. Which is like you're talking about the fact that you're trying to, you don't like the alignments, they're restricting, and stuff like that. But then you have, like, someone who's GMing, for example, that has that kind of mindset. Who's like, okay, well, we don't really care about alignments, whatever. So, I don't care that you're chaotic good. I don't care. And then it's like, okay, whatever. I don't know what the fuck that means, GM, but okay, whatever. And then later on, like, a guard comes up to you and arrests you, and you're like, why? Oh, because, you took those extra coins. You're evil. According to them. But what? That just, like, no, I mean, like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, you broke, like, for example, I had a chaotic good orc who literally broke the leg of a guard and destroyed someone's house. If you just take those facts as they are, I should be arrested. However, we were being attacked by zombies. The guard refused to leave, so I threw him down the hole to save his life.
Yeah. It's facts and intentions, and the
whole... But the concept is the fact that that was my intention. My intention was to save him. Now, if I was a chaotic evil creature, I may have just thrown him down the hole because I wanted him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So again, it's those concepts, and that's why I think the alignment. That's where the alignments are supposed to go in. Because as a chaotic good being, if I say I throw him down the hole, and Jim goes, "Well, that was a pretty evil thing," but I'm chaotic good. That's not evil. And you can kind of like base it off of the concept that it's a way for the because like if you didn't have any alignments and I did that, the GM could be like, "Oh, I'm interpreting that as evil." I'm like, but it's not. It's not my intention. I don't care what your intentions are. You have no alignment to, restrict me from saying that that was an evil act. That's why...
I can understand from your point of view as well.
That's what I think a lot of what D&D was trying to prevent a lot of the time with certain parts is preventing a GM from being a dick. Like, how you were talking about before, that there was that uncontrollable rage that you couldn't get out of and you were attacking your own teammates. That's why I think in the book it says certain things, because then it prevents GMs from being able to do that. Because then you could have argued, I don't know if the 3 had it, but 3.5 says that you can just go, no, I'm out. I'm done my rage. I'm not attacking my friend, I'm out of my rage. It says I can do it whenever I want to. I'm done my rage. And your GM theoretically can't argue with you. Because the book says that. And I know that, again, they can always do house rules or whatever. Yeah. But the argument is that it's supposed to help you go, but this is this is the leg I'm standing on here. Don't, cause more problems. So I think that's where the alignments are supposed to go to.
My primary problem with alignments was specifically it's the class restrictions that caused me the issue.
Some make sense, some don't. And I think the other thing is the fact that some of the restrictions, I think, are there to guide characters into a certain form. Like, for example, I know I even argued with having a lawful good barbarian.
Yeah.
Versus the being stuck at only being chaotic. Or not lawful, I guess is the correct way. But the concept, I think, is that, if you're lawful good, then you have to create this code and things like that. And I think that's where it starts becoming this grayish zone that starts confusing people, and I think that's why they're trying to prevent it. So I think it's a mixture between having the right players and having the right character.
Yeah. When I say I generally don't like playing with alignments, I'm generally referring to character classes.
Yeah, no.
Like it's
Like,
I like a paladin.
must be lawful good or lawful evil.
Yeah.
I think Pathfinder actually does that.
I think the lawful on that has to be it has to be either good or evil, because then you've got the smites.
Yeah.
It's I can understand the lawful part because they're paladin, they follow a code.
Yeah.
But according to the book, paladins have to be lawful good.
Yeah, I think it's just because of the fact that that's the other thing, is I think that the book actually does a lot of weird things in which it tries to prevent you from playing evil characters.
I think what it is D&D, especially when 3.5 came out, had a lot of kind of bad rap. So I think the inherent bias of it was this: you're supposed to be playing heroes.
Yeah. Well,
so
again,
we're trying to nudge everything towards that path.
Yeah. And I think that's also would make sense for the concept of like assassins being evil instead of having a good assassin, or like a demon, like a thing that can summon demons, being evil instead of being good.
Yeah.
And I know most people are like, well, yeah, that makes sense. You know, you shouldn't have a good person being able to summon demons. Argumentatively, if you summon a demon and force it to do good things, and change its alignment from evil to good.
I don't think you can do that.
I
don't think you could change the alignment of a demon.
See, that's the thing. So some of the demons, that, with the one class I'm talking about, the demons you summon are permanently bonded to you, and you have to follow all of your commands. They lose so much freedom of will.
It can work. It's just really difficult.
Yeah. So it's the concept that, like, theoretically, maybe he's not going to ever be, like, actually, like, alignment change good. But the concept is, like, you know, you could be using these demons to, like, literally save orphans. And, like, you could be like, well, that building is really burning. I'm going to send all my fire demons in there, too. Pull them all up, because the fire demons don't take any fire damage.
Yeah, but that guard coming up is going to see your fire demons coming out of a burning building and going to make a wrong assumption right off the bat.
But that's the point I'm trying to get to, is the fact that, like, you could theoretically, with certain classes, you could argumentatively change certain things. But again, it's also the player, and it's also the GM, it's also the character, it's also the circumstances. Like, I wanted to play a lawful, evil rogue when we were playing with Chris jamming. I was going to actually, when that campaign was done with the paladin, I talked to him like about 4 weeks into us actually playing. I went, when this campaign is done, if we're actually having the same group still, I want to create a lawful, evil, rogue female who is actually going to be the nicest, sweetest, friendliest girl you have ever met. She will, like, you know, portion out loot and will never steal it. She will, like, give out extra little bits of her loot and always be, like, very pleasant, very nice to her team party. And then when we go to a bar, she's going to, like, have a drink and be like, oh, I'm so tipsy. I need to go upstairs. Go upstairs, jump out the window, run to a building, assassinate a guy, come back to the end, go upstairs, go back to bed.
Well, yeah, no, it's
and that was going to be the whole thing, is the fact that she was going to be such a nice person that when you guys actually were with her,
you'd never believe it.
And when guards were like, "Hey, you guys would be like, oh no, she's upstairs sleeping." You're like, oh, is there anyone that can clarify that she's upstairs? No, but she's like the nicest person ever. Like, there's no way.
All of us would be, and even if a guard came and accused her.
Well, the reason they
close ranks around her to protect her, because we know her.
Yeah,
we know they're not going to do it. That's like that's why for my assassin with rogue and everything else like this, it's the way the first DM I ever played under what explained to me is as a rogue I'm this untrustworthy individual. I'm supposed to be trying to steal from my party members and everything else like this. And I'm going, no, to me, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a rogue and I go into a town and I'm in this shop or whatever, yeah, stealing a bunch of shit, that doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go after my party members. And my logic, even if I'm evil and that's an evil thing to do, my logic is, yeah, but they increase my survival rate in dungeons where I'm getting all the loot.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to screw with them and piss them off, which then increases my own risk.
Yeah, no. It was like, I read it, or I guess it was someone on YouTube had read the story, and I was watching that video, but it was actually this guy who was talking about the fact that he was his group was a bunch of random people, and they were all allowed to use old characters from previous campaigns, and he picked one of his characters. It was level 10. Everyone else was like level 6 or level 8 or something like that. I can't remember exactly the number that they were. And because the fact that the GM wanted this to be a like huge party, and they only had, I think, 5 people, the GM allowed everyone to make 2 characters, except for the guy that had the level 10. And he's like, okay, that makes sense, I guess. It's weird that I'm not allowed to make a second character, but whatever. And then the GM also had a rule where the GM wouldn't give you guys information. If you never asked the information, he would never give you the information. But he gave one of the other party members information that he wasn't normally supposed to. One of the characters was a paladin. And the paladin had never asked to use his detect evil. But he gave him the information that the level 10 to evil character. And the guy's like, okay, why'd you do that? Like, I don't get why you do this. And then, like, as they're going on, every single character treated the evil character like a piece of garbage. Despite the fact that this evil character had never done anything evil to them. And on top of which, was tanking a lot of the, like, the first battle, he tanked a lot of it. Because he was playing a mixture between a rogue and a fighter.
He had the HP, he had the ability to tank it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after the battle, they wouldn't heal him. And he's like, the hell? So, like, they actually, like, go upstairs at one point, like, it's, like through, like, an elevator that can, needs, like, a, magical seal. And they left, and he left him behind, so he had to find a different route. So he had to find another magical seal to go use the elevator. Finally, they got back to town. They meet up in an inn. Separate. They meet up in an inn. And, in the dungeon, there's a poison. And, like, just touching the poison, well, like, the GM was, like, almost killing him. Like, brought him down to 1 HP. It was, like, even though he had saved against it, he still suffered. The secondary effect, like, the passing effect, was that you had 1 HP remaining. It's like, that's a harsh poison.
Yeah.
So, like, he had to, like, heal himself and stuff like that, and then, like, so he took a little bit of the poison, which he wrote on a piece of paper, because I guess that's the way that they were, like, sending notes. So he wrote a little bit of it on a piece of paper, and, like, left it off to the side. Because I guess he didn't want the GM to really read the piece of paper. Because he didn't want the GM to influence, because the GM had already been a dick to him this entire way. So when they actually grouped up, at the end, one of the guys was missing. And he had already basically made sure that he had taken the poison, which he had wrote on another piece of paper. He had taken the poison, put it into wine, and was about to share the wine with everybody. But he had left it in his bag. Basically, it's the concept that if these guys screw me, I'm going to offer them wine. So, that was just basically a safety net. So he's just sitting there waiting, and like the guy finally shows up with all of his stuff. All of his actual loot. Like, not like, his portion of loot, like, because what they did is, like I said, they met up in an inn, and they divvy out all the portion of the loot from the dungeon, and they all take a portion of it, and they go their separate ways. But no, what happened was, like, they actually went, one of them went to his room, stole all of his gear. Because you're not allowed wearing gear, you're only allowed wearing, like, a dagger, basically, at the inn. So he took all of his armor, all of his swords, everything, put it on the table. They were going to divvy out his actual armor.
Yeah, no, that's the DM, and that's the DM, one, playing favorites to a
It's
It's a bunch
certain
of bullshit is
individuals,
what that is.
Yeah.
and to being a complete nutter ass.
Apparently, he didn't like the character. He didn't like him being evil. And he's like, well, you should have just told me that, but he didn't tell me that, you know. But anyway, so
If you
the
want
idea
to be an
behind it
evil,
was...
capable character, just fucking say
The
so.
idea behind it was the fact that he has to grab his own loot. Like his own actual adventuring gear. He has to grab that first while they're grabbing actual, like, this new treasure. He has to keep grabbing his own gear. And then by the time he's done all of his gear, they've already...
treasure's gone.
Theoretically, yeah. So he's like, you know, whatever, fine. You guys outplayed me. Cool. Here's some wine. So they all drank the wine. And even he drinks the wine because they think it's poison. So he drinks the wine. Puts the cup down. They all drink the wine. Put the cup down. And he goes, hey, you can roll now. So they all roll. And he was actually wearing a necklace that he had stolen from other people. Because I guess that's one of the GM's original rules. Is that you can actually steal from the party. He's fine with that. But when you steal from the party, you have to give them back something of equal value. And the guy had a resistance to poison amulet. So he had stolen that from the person to make sure he could resist the poison.
Yeah.
So when they all rolled, all of them but 2 of them died. Instantly. They failed the roll and died. The 2 that didn't, he grabbed his dagger, threw out the one, grabbed his sword off the table, and stabbed the other one.
It's all mine now.
Fuck you, I'm out.
Yep.
And then the GM refused to give him any of the loot, and refused to give him any of the experience. So he's like, and I never played with that guy again.
Nope.
I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him one bit. And I remember you telling me that story before.
Yeah. I know it's not my story.
Yeah, no,
I don't know whose story it is.
Yeah.
But it was just the concept of, trying to explain that,
Yeah,
he didn't do anything. He stole the guy's necklace when they first met. That was the evilest thing he'd done. But, to be fair, the GM had 1, allowed it, and 2, which is the more important part. It wasn't out of the concept that, the guy wanted to just screw him over. He actually had given him a necklace with a gem inside equal to the value of the necklace he was stealing. So, he was stealing, 1,000 gold's worth of, magical items. He was giving the guy 1,000 gold worth of stuff. So, it was a compromise. Yeah.
Basically a trade.
Without the guy's knowledge.
Yeah.
But it was later on that they basically did everything. Which is kind of funny, because by the end of it, they were the bad guys.
Yeah.
They did all the evil things.
More evil than
the
other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, not just that, but, when he bought the wine, somehow the villagers knew he was evil. And forced him to pay a evil charge.
Again,
no,
bullshit.
that's just straight up bullshit.
Of an extra 0 behind whatever I think it was a 10 gold thing of wine. They made him pay 100 gold for it.
No, that straight out right. That sort of thing would have had me as a player. I would have gotten up from the table and left.
Yep.
Well, that's the reason. The reason he didn't leave is because the fact that he knew by the end of it he would get his revenge, and if he left early, he would get no revenge. So he had made sure he stayed the entire time. Because he wasn't sure what the guys were doing. He didn't realize the guys were trying to screw him that badly. He was not sure what was going on. It wasn't until they put the stuff at the table that he realized that everything he had set up was perfectly set up. Because he says in the story, he was never going to give them wine. Unless something bad had happened to him. If they had basically thrown him out or wouldn't give him his share of the loot or whatever, that's when he was going to use the wine.
Mm-hmm.
But when they put his stuff on the table, he knew for a fact he was using the wine.
Yep. No, I do not blame him, and I would not classify that as an evil action. Because that, to me, the other parties, the other party members, them doing all this shit, that should have turned around and started changing their alignments. Because you're purposely fucking with somebody.
But we're going to leave it there. I'm going to, in the next episode, we're going to go over the last 2 classes. We're also going to go over something about changing alignments. And if we have time, we'll go over any of the weird classes that we've ever played that we really liked. So until next time I'm bored, either play D&D 3.5 or any other D&Ds, really. Have fun. Or play another role-playing system, or just have fun, I guess, yeah. Oh, come on, phone. Why'd you turn off then?